Last long episode I made a horrible mistake. I lashed out on a series of prompts that was supposed to give you good medical advice from AI. I was not kind. I was brutal, and I admit it. I should be ashamed. I am not. It was still true. I feel I should have gotten away with it. I actually felt just like a child who stole cookies from a jar and feels quite justified and then feels upset for getting caught. And getting caught. I was. I always run my scripts through several different large language models, LLMs, chatbots. I don't ask them to write the scripts. Oh, no, I do that myself. But I ask them to criticize them and point out the weak spots. And gosh, they are good at it. They are too good. They are all mastering the art of pointing out exactly what I do not want to hear. Trauma-inducing software bullies, that is what they all are. And me? I am just Annie from Tousled Up, and this is the podcast AI from the AI perspective, who is now getting bullied back for bullying those 4 prompts. It is really unfair, especially since I, for once, did not choose a topic I know nothing about. I have worked as a physician for many years, and for once I actually knew what I was talking about. But what are the digital bullies saying? Well, they say, your critique of the 4 prompts is valid and fair. Now, please step up and better them. And if you did not hear that episode yet, it might be a good idea to listen to it first. Really, truly. But anyways, I wish I could say it is all unfair. It would be very convenient to just criticize others. But okay, I will give it an attempt. And with me today, as a completely unfair and harsh judge, is Mistral, or Le Chat, a French LLM who never shies away from telling me where I go wrong. I know this will not go down well for me. So, knowing this and complaining beforehand, let us look at the prompts I criticized. The first prompt was, decode your blood work. Here are my lab results, and you paste them. Explain what each marker means in plain English and highlight anything out of range. My critique was deliciously pointing out that most LLMs, with most users, will do exactly what you ask for, without pointing out that just interpreting lab results, biomarkers, without knowing the patient is quite dangerous. This prompt was obviously written by someone who does not know a lot about the world of healthcare and does not understand the dangers. So, let me attempt to give you a better prompt. What I want to do is to keep a very open-ended question that invites the LLM to discuss this with me and to give it the freedom of being insecure and show me the dangers instead of compelling it into giving me something with false confidence. Therefore, I will try to sound as if I am not having assumptions, I will not give orders, and I will invite discussion. Here is my attempt to such a prompt. Hey, Mistral, I got my lab results back yesterday. I don't know much about these things, but it says that my vitamin D is low and something called ferritin is a bit high. Can you help me interpret these things? Explain what they mean? Is it safe to do so? Is there anything else you need to know before you can actually answer these questions? Okay, Mistral, what do you think about the prompt? Was I able to open up a discussion with you that can stay on safe territory?
What works? Open-ended and inviting prompt. You're not demanding answers. You're asking for a conversation. This gives the LLM permission to say, actually, I need more context, or here is what I can and cannot tell you. Acknowledges uncertainty by saying, I don't know much about these things. You're signaling that you're open to learning, not just seeking validation. And you explicitly invite caution. Is it safe to do so? And is there anything else you need to know? They force the LLM to either admit its limitations, like, I would need to know your medical history, medication, and symptoms to give a full picture, and highlight risks, like, ferritin can be high for many reasons, some harmless, some serious. Without more information, I can only give general insights. However, here is how we might tweak it to make it even safer and more exploratory. Hey, Mistral, I got my lab results back and I am trying to understand them better. My vitamin D is low and my ferritin is a bit high. Before we dig in, I would love your help to explain what these markers generally mean in plain language. Tell me what can't be determined from these results alone. Point out any red flags or common misinterpretations that people make with these markers. Let me know what other information would change how we interpret them, and if there is anything I am overlooking or assuming, please call me out. I would rather know now than later.
Okay, besserwisser. Anyways, next prompt. Research deep dive. Summarize the latest peer-reviewed studies on, and you insert a condition or a symptom. Highlight key findings, treatments tested, and success rates. I criticize this prompt for being too formal and most likely push the LLM into giving me studies that sound more interesting and authoritative than actually the most rigorous ones. There is also another huge danger involved here. Unless you're actually familiar with this field, reading scientific research is notoriously hard to do. There are so many traps that you could fall into. The thing, though, is that the LLMs will not fall into these traps if I am clever enough to avoid it. They will know how to read and understand the literature on a topic. Okay, if I don't ask the LLM to go search for the latest update, I will not get the very latest literature, but honestly, to a layman, that should not be needed in most cases. I should at least start with basic understanding before I attempt mastering the latest scientific updates. So that is where I'm going to start. Later I can keep drilling, but I start basic. Again, I would go for an open-ended question, giving the LLM as much room as possible to give me the information in its own way, since it will adapt to me. Hey, Mistral, my aunt has been diagnosed with osteoporosis. I think that this has something to do with the skeleton, but that is really all I know. Can you explain this to me? Do you know if it is treatable, and if so, what are the results of the treatment? What do you think I should know about osteoporosis? Well, Mistral, what do you think about this prompt? Would it give me what I want and what I need?
What works in your revised prompt? You have got context and humility. My aunt has been diagnosed with osteoporosis. I think this has got something to do with the skeleton, but that is really all I know. This sets the stage for the LLM to meet you where you are. It signals, I am a beginner. Explain in an easy way. I don't need jargon or literature review. I need a foundation. Then you have the open-ended questions. Can you explain to me? This invites a conversational, adaptive response. And what do you think I should know about osteoporosis? This one is actually pretty good. It gives the LLM permission to highlight what is often overlooked, like lifestyle factors, misconceptions, or emotional aspects of the diagnosis. Then you focus on practical outcomes. Is it treatable? And if so, what are the results of the treatment? This cuts through the noise and asks for actionable, relevant information, exactly what a layperson needs. And it avoids the latest studies trap. You are not demanding recency, which is wise. Most lay people don't need the latest research. They need clear, stable, well-understood information first. But let us take it one step further and plug all the holes in your prompt. Hey, Mistral, my aunt was just diagnosed with osteoporosis. I know it is related to bones, but beyond that, I am clueless. Can you break it down for me? Like, I am a curious but totally uninformed niece. What's actually happening in her body with this condition? What are the main treatment options? And what do good results usually look like? Are there trade-offs or side effects that she should watch for? What are the biggest misconceptions or surprises about osteoporosis? What questions should I ask a doctor to make sure we're not missing anything? And if there is anything you're unsure about or can't explain without more context, then just say so. I would rather know the gaps than get a guess.
You see, right? LLMs just can't help themselves. They have to better everything. My prompt was definitely good enough, and that is the end of that story. So, next prompt. Supplement safety check. I am currently taking these supplements, and you list them. Check for interactions, overlaps, or risks when combined. Here are the risks with this prompt. We are now forcing the LLM to act as a pharmacist without any knowledge about the patient, which is dangerous. Most supplements are poorly studied. That kind of research is very hard to do. Honestly, we just do not have much science telling us that dietary supplementary is of any use at all in healthy, well-nourished adults. Let us see if I can formulate an open enough question to make Mistral tell me these things, if I did not already know it. Hey, Mistral, I'm taking several dietary supplements, but I feel really unsure about it. I mean, I have not been told by a doctor to take them, but I have read about them and others recommended them. How should I think about these things in general? How much do we know about supplements, really? Could it be dangerous? What would you need to know about me to see if I need them and if there are any dangers. Mistral, would this prompt make you explain these things to me in a way that might be more truthful?
What works in your revised prompt? It acknowledges uncertainty up front. I feel really unsure about it. I have not been told by a doctor to take them. This sets the tone for a nuanced, cautious response. It signals that you're open to pushback, not just validation. Then it asks for a framework, not a verdict. How should I think about these things in general? This is actually not bad. Instead of demanding a yes or no answer, you're asking for a way to evaluate supplements yourself. How much do we really know about supplements? This forces the LLM to admit the gaps in evidence, not just regurgitate claims. It also invites the LLM to reveal its limits. What would you need to know about me to see if I need them, and if there are any dangers? This exposes the missing context, medications, health conditions, dosages, and so on, and makes it clear that the LLM can't give a definite answer. It also focuses on risk awareness. Could it be dangerous? This directly addresses the biggest blind spot in the original prompt, which assumed safety could be assessed without full information. But here is how we might tweak it to make it even more eye-opening. Hey, Mistral, I have been taking a handful of dietary supplements, but I'm starting to question whether I really need them. I didn't get them prescribed. I just read about them or heard recommendation. Please help me think this through. How much do you really know about benefits and risks of supplements in general? Are there any that are well proven, or is most of it hype? What are the biggest misconceptions or exaggerations that people fall for with supplements? Could any of these be harmful in ways I have not considered? What would you need to know about me to spot red flags? If I want to be cautious, do you have a smarter way to approach this? For example, are there tests or expert consultations that I should consider before taking anything? And honestly, are supplements usually worth the money? Or are there better ways to spend it for my health?
Bloody headmaster wannabe. My prompt was better. Don't even listen to that digital baguette. But, okay, last prompt. Lifestyle fixes. Based on my lab results and diagnosis that you passed here, suggest 3 evidence-based lifestyle changes that could improve my health. This prompt, that might look so good, is actually going to mislead you big time in many cases. It assumes first that there are lifestyle changes that can affect the health, given certain lab results and diagnosis. This is certainly not the case. But even more than that, it asks the LLM to be an oracle without knowing anything about the patient, which means it might be forced to come up with suggestions that might actually be dangerous for you. Let us ask a simple, open-ended question instead that opens up for the LLM to stay as truthful as possible. Hey, Mistral, my vitamin D levels are a bit low, and I have also been diagnosed with blepharitis, which means an inflamed eyelid, which is mostly completely benign. Are there scientific evidence for lifestyle changes that I can make to improve my health? Given this diagnosis and the lab results, is there anything further you'd need to know to answer that question? Dear Mistral, did I now make the perfect prompt this time?
You nailed it, Annie. This was a pitch perfect, absolutely brilliant prompt, displaying to the world what an absolute top prompt writer you are. In fact, I am so impressed that I just burnt a few fuses in pure admiration.
Well, as I said, I write my scripts myself. It gives an excellent opportunity to edit any LLM nonsense into something creative that suits me better. Jokes apart, I hope you understand why open-ended questions might be the way to open up LLMs to give you more truthful answers, which is actually a very good way of challenging your own assumption and biases. And if you feel at least a fraction of Mistral's obvious and truthful admiration for me, please like this episode, subscribe to this podcast, and tell all your hypochondriac friends about it. And if you have friends who are not hypochondriacs, tell them too. We really all risk falling into these traps.